Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Before I get started on this video, I did want to say may he rest in peace Sulaiman al-Ubaid, a former Palestinian national team captain playing for Palestine, and recently he's been killed. Him and a bunch of other Palestinian sports athletes or coaches or legends that played for their country. So I just wanted to real quick start off by paying my respects to them, and I hope that their family finds peace during these difficult times. But yeah, speaking about today's topic, as we all know, the Ballon d'Or list has been revealed, and they gave us the top 30 nominees, and obviously there's not going to be a multiple time Ballon d'Or winner since Rodri's not even nominated on this Ballon d'Or list. If I could speak about some of the players that do belong here, that don't belong here, and those that have been snubbed off of this list, this video would go on forever. And if you guys look at the screen, there are a bunch of names that I'm sure that some of you guys might think that they don't deserve to be on the list. There's some names that I think don't deserve to be on the list, if I'm being honest. And obviously there are some that deserve to win it and deserve to be on this list. Specifically in this video, I did want to talk about two players, in my opinion, that deserve this Ballon d'Or. And if I'm being completely honest, if either of them win it, I wouldn't mind it. All right? Just to remind you guys, all right? I'm a Real Madrid fan, okay? A Real Madrid fan, an unbiased one. And when it comes to facts, stats, and influence, and all the criteria that meets the Ballon d'Or winning criterias, the original one, not the ones that they keep flipping every single year, I'll be completely honest on who deserves it. So obviously there's two names that stick out to me. And the first name being number 2 on the list, which is Ousmane Dembélé. And the second one is on the right column underneath Pedri, which is Raphinha. In my opinion, those two players are the ones that deserve the Ballon d'Or award. So I just wanted to give you a little recap on why the award could go to either Dembélé or Raphinha. So I don't know if you guys know, but Raphinha had over 65 goal contributions, specifically 69. And the achievement he achieved with Barcelona this season, right? Everybody, hands down to Barcelona. They reached great heights this season, winning the domestic treble, and I believe they're the team that conceded the fewest goals in Europe. But besides that point, they won the domestic treble. They reached the semifinals of the UCL. And specifically talking about Raphinha, he was the top goal scorer, right? So he won the UCL Golden Boot. And not only that, he was also the top assister for the tournament. And I think that's a great achievement, especially being knocked out at the semifinals and still winning that. That is a great, great, great achievement. And I think that kind of solidifies his status and his mark on why he should win the Ballon d'Or. Even though Barcelona did not win the UCL, I still believe that Raphinha, with the impact that he left, and especially reaching the semifinals, which was one step closer to the finals, is not that bad for a Ballon d'Or winner, right? But as we all know, usually it's a UCL winner. If there's no international tournament going on, it's usually a UCL winner who is going to win the Ballon d'Or, especially with the impact, right? As we all know, Raphinha, every single game for Barcelona, he has gotten either a goal or an assist or both. Multiple man of the matches, multiple player of the month. I'm not sure if he only won it once, but he did deserve for a lot of months for the performance that he performed with Barcelona. He's a big game player as well, right? Scoring all these goals and always being present for his team. I think that he kind of checks off that mark for impact, influence, and for always being there for his team. Whenever Lamine Yamal is not there, Raphinha is there. Whenever Pedri is not there, he is there. I think, right? So Pedri, I believe that he kept the team together, right? But I believe that without Raphinha up in front, I really don't think that this team was going to succeed as much, right? Just to remind you, for Barcelona, right, he had 69 goals contribution. And without Raphinha, those goals were not going to be there. If you take away the assists, if you take away those 69 goals and assists that he provided and gave for Barcelona, a lot of those goals won't be present. There's times where he scored the equalizer, time where he scored the game winner, right? I won't forget against Inter Milan where they thought they won it. Incredible. This guy, if a Barcelona, I've been saying this, all right? And I have too many thoughts right now, so I can't even speak like with a straight mind. But I've been saying that if a Barca player is going to win the Ballon d'Or, it is not going to be Lamine Yamal. I believe that Raphinha, I don't know how, I don't know what happened, he was favored to win the Ballon d'Or from Barcelona. And then out of nowhere, I think it was after the UCL is where everybody just kind of snubbed him off the list and then kind of said, oh, Lamine Yamal is the one that deserves it. I don't know where this all happened, right? Because it's not Raphinha that got knocked out from the UCL. That's one. It was Barcelona as a whole. And two, yes, Lamine Yamal also had a great season, and I'm not taking this away from him, right? But you also have Pedri, who also was the key holder of not just the midfield, but kind of the entire Barcelona team. So if you're going to put Lamine Yamal over Raphinha, I believe Pedri is supposed to be above Lamine Yamal. Like you can't change the criterias. That's what I'm trying to say. There has to be consistency. So everybody knows that, impact with the team. Everybody knows is if you're present, right, with the goals and the assists, because as we all know, that also plays a huge contribution to you winning that award. So Raphinha, I feel like, checks off that list more than Pedri and more than Lamine Yamal. If we have to be completely honest, right? Because if let's switch out Raphinha for Lamine Yamal. Let's switch out both of their achievements. So we're going to put Lamine Yamal achieving what Raphinha achieved, and we're going to switch Raphinha with what Lamine Yamal achieved, performed, all that. Nobody is going to say Raphinha deserves it over Lamine Yamal. Nobody does. And I think, this is my own opinion, I could be wrong, I think they want Lamine Yamal to win it. He's 17 years old, recently turned 18. They want him to be, I believe, the youngest to ever win it. So it's all kind of like a PR thing, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I hate PR, whether it's for Real Madrid and whether it's for Barcelona or any team. Whoever deserves the award deserves it. Based off the unbiased criteria, I think that whoever did the most for that award deserves it, right? So I wanted to make a quick, kind of like a closing statement for Raphinha. I believe he is the most slept on Ballon d'Or case this year, and his name is Raphinha. 69 goals and assists, La Liga Player of the Season. And you might think it stops there, but it doesn't. He also won the Champions League Golden Boot, and he was the top assister. With Barcelona, he won the domestic treble. And when they needed magic, nobody was there but Raphinha. They have Lewandowski, Lamine, Pedri, but you guys have to understand that it was Raphinha that was always present and gave the goals and the assists whenever Barcelona needed them. Whether it's key moments, big moments, he always showed up. And with all those numbers and the trophies, how did his name drop from the top 3 Ballon d'Or contenders? If a Barca player is going to win the Ballon d'Or, it's none other than Raphinha. So that is kind of what I wanted to speak about, was specifically Raphinha and why he deserves to be the favorite Barcelona player, or even the second, if anything, the second, all right? But the most favorite Barcelona Ballon d'Or winner, I believe, is supposed to go to Raphinha. Case closed. However, I believe that Dembélé deserves to win it this year. And they achieved similar things with their respective teams. However, the reason why I think Dembélé edges it out against Raphinha is because of the UCL. So, Dembélé has 51 goal contributions, which is not that far off from Raphinha. He won a quadruple with PSG, including the UCL. And similarly to Raphinha, he is the Ligue Player of the Season. And a more important award than the UCL Golden Boot is the UCL Player of the Season. And that went to Dembélé. And the reason why I believe that Dembélé deserves it over Raphinha is because he was Player of the Season for the UCL, and he won the UCL with PSG. And even disregarding the UCL, he also performed, right? I know in the beginning half of the season, he didn't really do that much, but then that's where it kind of kicked off, is towards the end, or not towards the end, from the second half of the season. And, things like that could happen, right? Mo Salah, right? He seemed like he was the Ballon d'Or favorite. Now I believe he's not even in the top 5, maybe top 5, but he was in the top 2 with Raphinha. And then Dembélé kind of came out of nowhere, and with the big game moments and all the man of the matches and player of the month, and when the UCL happened, he was there scoring, dominating. That PSG team was like scary. Any team that faced PSG was like automatically not favorited to win against PSG. And the big factor is that, right, is like Dembélé is the Raphinha for PSG. And Raphinha was the Dembélé for Barcelona. The cases for them is both similar. If the Ballon d'Or goes to Raphinha, it makes sense. If it goes to Dembélé, it makes sense as well. Other than that, on this list that I just saw and showed you guys, I don't know how Lamine Yamal is more favored than Raphinha. I don't know how Pedri is. I don't know how. The only one that should be more favored than Raphinha is Dembélé. All right? And I'm sick of the disrespect that Raphinha gets. He deserves more. All right? Just because he's not a Barcelona legend, right? This season, he was playing like he's a Barcelona legend. So you can't snub that out of Raphinha, right? But this part, I'm just talking about Dembélé, and I think, in my own personal opinion, I think Dembélé deserves it. Sportsmanship is there, because there's a third criteria of, I guess, having a classy act, something like that. He has the goals and assists. He's I think the most impactful player for PSG this season. And with the achievements, the team trophies, and individual awards, he's got it all. Dembélé deserves, in my opinion, this 2025 Ballon d'Or award. And I'll just make a closing statement about Dembélé as well. Raphinha had a wild season, no doubt about it. But for me personally, the Ballon d'Or goes to Dembélé. 51 goals and assists and a clean sweep of 4 trophies, the quadruple with PSG. And the biggest of them all is winning the UCL. He was the Ligue Player of the Season. He won the Ligue Golden Boot. And on top of that, he won the UCL Player of the Tournament. And he didn't just stat pad. He led PSG in big games. And just like Raphinha, when it mattered the most, Dembélé is the one to step up. And let's be real. If you win the UCL and you were the best player in the tournament, that's a Ballon d'Or moment. And to put it all together, Raphinha balled out, but Dembélé won it all. And the Ballon d'Or, in my opinion, should go to Dembélé. That is the closing statement for me, for Dembélé and for Raphinha. But like I said, and I'll say it for the last time, if the Ballon d'Or should go to anyone, it should go to those two players. They've had an amazing season with both of their clubs. I am obviously sad that I can't vouch and defend any of the Madrid players to win the Ballon d'Or. The only one maybe could be Mbappe for, achieving the European Golden Boot and the La Liga Pichichi Award. But that's not enough to win the Ballon d'Or. You didn't win the league. You don't win the big domestic cup. And you didn't win the UCL. So I don't think that the Ballon d'Or could go to them. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Dembélé should win it, Raphinha, for other reasons? If you think any other player should win it, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be responding like always. And I will see you guys next time. And until then, Assalamu alaikum.